Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. Let's keep those words in mind as we power through the month of October. Hello and welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. We'll have an information-packed show lined up just for you. But first, the news.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica. Original.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, October 1, 2024. The governments of Jamaica and the Republic of India have agreed on bilateral cooperations across various sectors that will enable economic and social benefits for both countries. This was indicated through the exchange of 4 memoranda of understandings on Monday. The first is in digital transformation for the sharing of successful digital public infrastructure. This is aimed at promoting financial inclusion and social economic transformation. The other areas of cooperation include culture and sports. An MOU was also exchanged between eGov Jamaica Limited and National Payments Corporation of India. At a shared press briefing with his Indian counterpart, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness welcomed the deepened relations between Jamaica and India. Dr. Holness adds that for almost 2 centuries, Indians have been contributing to Jamaica's development in key areas such as health, education, information technology, and business.
Having had very fruitful talks with Prime Minister Modi, I can say with confidence that today heralds a new phase in Jamaica-India bilateral relations. Our discussions touched a range of issues of mutual interest, including health, agriculture, digital transformation, film, education, sports, tourism, and many other subjects.
हमने जमैका के लोगों के स्किल डेवलपमेंट और कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग में योगदान दिया है। डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, लघु उद्योग, बायोफ्यूल, इनोवेशन, हेल्थ, एजुकेशन, एग्रीकल्चर जैसे क्षेत्रों में हम अपना अनुभव जमैका के साथ साझा करने के लिए तैयार हैं।
Prime Minister Holness is currently in India on a working visit with a team comprising Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, and Minister with responsibility for digital transformation, Senator Dana Morris-Dixon. The delegation also met with India's President and Vice President. Still in India, Jamaica officially opened its High Commission office in New Delhi on Monday. Dubbed Jamaica House, the office showcases the diverse stories of Jamaica through murals and will present opportunities for investment and the provision of service to members of the diaspora living in India. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the office is another linkage to the Jamaica-India relationship.
The opening of this lovely facility, Jamaica House, in India, is, yes, to advance our diplomatic relations, but more so to advance our economic relations.
Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, says the COVID-19 pandemic delayed the official opening and the working visit presented the opportune time.
Our missions are of great importance to us. There are outposts. There are points of contact with the world. They are our focal areas of engagement, or platforms for reaching out not only to the host country government, but to our wonderful partners who are resident here as well.
Prime Minister Holness also took the time to meet with Cultural Ambassador to India, renowned cricketer Chris Gale. Jamaica's foreign direct investment inflows rose to $431 million in 2023, a 35% increase from $319 million when compared to 2022. Industry Investment and Commerce Minister Senator Auburn Hill said this was achieved while global foreign direct investment fell by 2% in 2023 when compared to 2022. Senator Hill was speaking in the Senate on Friday.
When everything around us, worldwide, regional, and everything else was falling, Jamaica's FDI grew by 35% last year over the previous year.
According to Minister Hill, capital from foreign direct investment is enhancing Jamaica's productive capacity and is stimulating innovation across various business sectors. He said it is also providing funding for infrastructure development. Senator Hill added that there has been a marked increase in local direct investments, with businesses expanding and modernizing on the island.
Several local companies have invested in technology and operations which show their commitment to enhancing capacity, productivity, and competitiveness.
Still in the Senate, Minister Hill said the Consumer Affairs Commission is reporting a noticeable lowering of prices for agricultural produce between August and September when compared to the sharp spikes seen in previous months. The Industry and Commerce Minister said while there was a 62% increase for West Indian red pepper and a 33% for local thyme due to Hurricane Beryl, overall price movement showed a slight decline.
Of the 53 local and imported agricultural products surveyed, in other words, a good range of products were surveyed, 16 items, 30% of that 53 recorded price declines ranging from 1% to 11%, indicating some stabilization in market conditions. 3 agricultural items, that 6%, remained relatively constant. 34 product items, that 64%, still experienced increases but were less severe, ranging from 1% to as high as I said before, 62%.
Senator Hill said the Consumer Affairs Commission will continue to monitor the prices of goods to ensure fair pricing for all Jamaicans. Stakeholders in the construction sector are being assured that there is adequate supply of cement on the market. The assurance follows consultation with the island's leading producer, Carib Cement Company. There have been reports of a shortage of cement in the local market, but Industry, Investment and Commerce Minister Senator Auburn Hill revealed that Carib Cement has been given an import quota to supplement production downtime. The same instruction was given to other entities that do not produce cement to import if necessary to supply market demand. The industry minister is urging importers who are not using their import quota to do so or risk losing it.
Importers who were given quotas did not use up their quotas. And so while you hear of a shortage in the market and some people are calling for the government to give more quotas and so on, use your quota that the government has given you to make sure the supply of cement is evenly managed in the marketplace.
According to Minister Hill, a detailed market analysis conducted by his ministry between January and August this year revealed a decline in cement production averaging an 8% drop per month. Total domestic sale during this period amounted to 741,052 metric tons, while total production was 624,701 metric tons. And finally, Juliet Salmon is the 2024 National Senior Citizen Spelling Bee champion. The 61-year-old retiree from the parish of St. Andrew entered the competition for the very first time, correctly spelled the word Apagitura. The competition, in its 20th staging, saw 14 contestants vying for top honors at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston recently. Jennifer Gordon from St. James placed second, while Cynthia Mears from St. Anne had to settle for third place. The contestants were awarded with cash prizes, gift baskets, and certificates from the sponsors. The competition was hosted by the National Council for Senior Citizens in partnership with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security as part of Senior Citizens Month celebrations held annually in September. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching. Attention all primary school students! The JIS invites you to participate in our 2024 Heritage Essay Competition highlighting the theme, Out of Many, One People. In only 400 to 500 words, discuss how our different cultural, ethnic or religious groups have contributed to building a stronger Jamaica. Essays must be written in standard English and have at least one reference from a JIS source. There are prizes to be won. Get creative, share your ideas, and make your voice heard. Submit your essay by Thursday, October 31, 2024. Be sure to visit jis.gov.jm for the competition guidelines. Your words can help shape Jamaica's future. Start writing today.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness spent last week in New York for the 79th United Nations General Assembly. While there, he engaged with the diaspora and held bilateral talks with his counterparts. Get the details next.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was in New York last week for the 79th United Nations General Assembly. During his visit, Dr. Holness participated in several activities, one of which saw Jamaica joining other UN member states in adopting a threefold declaration. The agreement includes the Pact for the Future, the Global Digital Compact, and the Declaration on Future Generations.
Even as we address the challenges of today, we have an obligation to protect the interests of future generations and ensure that they will inherit a planet in which they can thrive. We must now translate that enthusiasm into action by giving life to the Declaration.
The declarations, which seek to guide global decision-making for the next century and beyond, will cover areas such as sustainable development, climate change, and digital cooperation, among others.
For governments like mine, this effort will require a whole-of-society collaboration as we seek to embed futures thinking in all our decision-making processes across national and local government.
While co-chairing the summit of the Future Interactive Dialogue, Dr. Holness assured world leaders that Jamaica is fully committed to meeting the needs of current and future generations.
The government I lead is committed to fully engaging in a forward-thinking process of reform, leveraging data and science as tools to inform our decision-making and embedding long-term thinking into every level of policy-making.
Prime Minister Holness also used the UN Summit of the Future to share Jamaica's success in building a resilient economy.
The COVID pandemic would have set us back. But within the fiscal program, we built in resilience. So we ensured that our economy was able to respond to shocks. And we were able to respond to the COVID pandemic and the subsequent shocks that followed. So I think that Jamaica could be cited as an example of a country that maintained fiscal discipline, built in buffers, and took the necessary steps to build resilience in its economy to be able to respond to unexpected crises and shocks.
Prime Minister Holness also participated in the commemorative ceremony of the 30th anniversary of UNESCO's Roots of Enslaved Peoples program. The event, which seeks to honor the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, was held at the Ark of Return. During his presentation, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness reaffirmed Jamaica's unwavering support for reparatory justice and the proclamation of the Second International Decade for People of African Descent.
History is replete with accounts of horrific atrocities experienced by enslaved Africans in the 400 years of the transatlantic slave trade. Yet, through their own action and great sacrifice, our ancestors emerged as heroes, passing on to their descendants the dignity, integrity, and resilience with which they became masters of their own destinies.
Other developments coming out of the Prime Minister's visit to New York include bilateral discussions with the Prime Minister of the Republic of Haiti, Gary Conille. The conversation focused on returning stability to the island and Jamaica's continued support once normalcy returns. Prime Minister Holness also held bilateral talks with his counterpart from the Kingdom of Lesotho, the Right Honourable Samuel Chwakane Matekane. That meeting affirmed the bonds of friendship between the countries and a resolve to strengthening the partnership in areas of mutual importance. Prime Minister Holness also held talks with Kenya's President, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto. While in New York, Dr. Holness updated the Jamaican diaspora on significant long-term investments being undertaken by the government to improve the country's road infrastructure. Mr. Holness assured the diaspora that for the first time in history, the country is financially able to carry out major infrastructure development.
Going forward, the government is making the commitment with the budgetary allocations from our economic performance to build new roads, improve those roads, and to maintain them.
Back home, Prime Minister Andrew Holness followed through on the government's commitment to regularize informal settlements. On Wednesday, he signed a contract and broke ground for the Spicy Grove housing development in St. Mary. The project will facilitate the surveying and titling of 70 lots. Residents will also have access to proper roads and water supply. Dr. Holness stressed the importance of land ownership in fostering community protection.
It is very important that we regularize informal settlements, that the people who live in these communities take ownership. You see, this business of living somewhere and you don't feel like you own it, it means that you don't take the kind of responsibility for the community that you should.
Journeying to the neighbouring parish of St. Anne, the Prime Minister broke ground for the Lancewood Pipeline Extension project in exchange. The project is being spearheaded by the National Water Commission, NWC, at a cost of $16 million and will benefit over 400 residents in Lancewood and adjoining districts.
The works, it will entail, first of all, the replacement of old encrusted, probably asbestos pipes that were used for distribution. In other words, these are the pipes that would take water from the main to your house.
And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Today is the perfect time to celebrate by eating eco-friendly. Choose locally sourced, organic foods to reduce your carbon footprint and support local farmers. Consider cutting down on meat consumption and opting for delicious plant-based meals. Support restaurants and businesses committed to sustainability. Together, we can savor delicious meals while preserving our planet for future generations.
Calling all tertiary level students. The JIS presents its 2024 Heritage Photo Competition under the theme, Out of Many, One People. Capture the beauty of our culture and history through your lens for a chance to win amazing prizes. Entries close October 31, 2024, so get ready to showcase your creativity. Visit jis.gov.jm for the competition guidelines. Don't miss your chance to be part of the legacy. Let's preserve our heritage, one photo at a time.
October is National Dental Hygiene Month, celebrating dental hygienists and promoting excellent oral hygiene in our communities. Let's look at some things that you should be doing when it comes to taking care of your oral health.
Dental health is really important because the mouth is the entry point of nutrition in our bodies. And if it is not functioning properly, then we run the risk of not getting the correct nutrition. Actually, we refer more so to oral health these days than dental health. If we have bad teeth that impair our ability to chew properly, then we will tend to keep away from certain food groups that could be challenging to chew. People with bad oral hygiene, people who use and eat and drink a lot of sweets, you can have decay, and you can also have, along with it, periodontal gum disease. You know, the big one that jump out at me is periodontal disease, gum disease. That is when the gum begin to be bleedy, sore, puffy, and just generally uncomfortable. It carries some social consequences, bad breath, and you tend to lose self-confidence. It's so important to have a consultation with your dental personnel, whether the dental surgeon or the hygienist, who will be able to diagnose the needed treatment for such a condition. All sugars are bad, but everything is in moderation. The Jamaica Dental Association endorsed the efforts of the government in reducing the levels of sugar in the bottled beverages. The aim is to get it to 2.5 milligrams in 100 mils by the year 2023. It would be roughly 2.5 teaspoonful. The current level that the government has aimed for, and it was introduced the end of January, is 5 milligrams per 100 mils. So that is coming from 6.5, so it's a gradual reduction. And the taste will be not so significantly different. As a dentist, I recommend the soft, but I'm aware that a lot of patients tend towards the harder ones. It does some damage by cutting a little line at the neck of the teeth, just where the teeth meet the gum line. So we recommend the soft toothbrush. It's really important to begin by putting the brush on the gum. A lot of people avoid the gum because they tend to think that it makes the gum bleedy. It's the exact opposite. It is as a result of not brushing the gum why there is some amount of bleediness. And you should brush in the direction of growth. The top ones, you brush them down in a circular motion, and the bottom ones, you brush them up, covering all surfaces. Don't forget your tongue and, as I said before, the gum itself. Flossing is very, very important. If you try to imagine that the toothbrush does not get between the teeth, the only thing that can remove the material that will accumulate between the teeth would be the dental floss. The technique is also important. Hold it short, get it past that little tight area, and gently bring it down into the gum, that little crevice of the gum, and remove it. Remove material that might have accumulated there. And we recommend 6 monthly checkup. If you tend to be prone to decays, we would really like to see you every 6 months. If you have been checked and you are pretty much okay, a yearly visit would be adequate. Extraction really is the last resort. With regular examination, we can pick up using x-rays and visual examination early decays, and these can be effectively dealt with by regular fillings. If it has gone too far and it is now in the nerve, there are other procedures called root canals that can be done, and sometimes we need to cover the entire tooth with a crown to bring it back to usefulness. If your teeth are malaligned, just not aesthetically pleasing, or are causing some kind of effect on your body, then they should be straightened. Orthodontic treatment or braces simply mean moving the teeth through bone to put them in a more harmoniously pleasing position. It's important because you are moving teeth through bone, and the harmony between the joint, the soft tissues, and the teeth must be respected. Not respecting it can result in pain in the joint, headaches, and just a general sense of discomfort in your mouth. It's important to visit your dentist regularly and without fear, because with new technology, and we now have many new dentists in our system, where it's not difficult to get an appointment to see a dentist on a regular basis. There's always a needle, but outside of that, there's absolutely no pain.
Secondary students, it's time to get creative for the JIS Heritage Poster Competition 2024. Whether you're a whiz with digital design or love to illustrate, this is your chance to shine. Design a poster using this year's exciting theme, Out of Many, One People. Prizes are up for grabs, so bring your A-game. Submit your masterpiece between September 2 and October 31. For all the details and the guidelines, head to jis.gov.jm. Don't miss out. Show Jamaica your talent and create something amazing.
And that's it for today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Remember, if you are positive, you'll see opportunities instead of obstacles. Do join us again tomorrow for another informative show. Do visit our website, gis.gov.jm, for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.